everyone, I'm Michelle Wingate. I am presenting on Group C, Week 8, Dina, Anna, and myself for our Make a Difference Day. The point of our Make a Difference Day is to encourage 3rd through 5th graders to design, 3rd through 5th grade teachers to design a day for their students to make a difference in their greater community. Now, in order to do so, we're going to start our workshop with a little bit of a welcome time to go over the agenda and the expectations for the day. You can see from our agenda that we're going to have a welcome, an icebreaker game, breakout sessions, 3 different sessions, and then we're also going to have a wrap-up time as well. Now, it's important to go over your agenda and your expectations of the day so that your educators as well as your students, when you move this into your classroom, have a clear understanding of how the day is going to work and what is expected of them during the day. So the workshop goals that we've set are to be able to have teachers create a Make a Difference Day in their 3rd through 5th grade classrooms, to provide classroom activities that are age appropriate, developmentally appropriate, and encompass an ethical and moral understanding, and also to identify and use daily classroom materials to promote acceptance in their classroom. We're going to run today's workshop using discussions and activities. Discussions are a great way to encourage and bring forth your auditory learners, but then you also have visual and kinesthetic learners that it's important to provide hands-on activities where they can write, they can color, they're moving, they're doing something to meet needs of all of your learners. That happens in both adult education as well as student education with our young students. So our goal is to meet the needs of all of our learners in this workshop. Today will be a successful day because by the end of the day they're going to be able to recognize their social groupings. Student relationships are being identified at this age, so this workshop will bring forth activities to encourage that in the classrooms. It's an imperative time to incorporate acceptance and encourage that in your classroom, as well as it's an impressionable age. It's a power of positive influence, and we as educators have the opportunity to really influence that in our classrooms. So to begin our session, we're going to do a breakout activity, a warm-up icebreaker where we get to know each other a little bit. The activity that our group chose was 2 truths and a fib, and the reason we chose that is you kind of get to know each other on a deeper level. Yes, I know you have brown hair, but I did not know you lived in Spain, for example, and those are things that you really learn in those activities. It's fun, it's short, it's easy to do. So that's the warm-up icebreaker activity we chose. Then we're going to dive right into our first breakout session. Our breakout sessions are 20 minutes each. 2 of the 3 have activities that go along with them, 1 and 2. 3 does not, but we have a mingle session afterwards to encourage discussion. So the first breakout session that we have is right here. It's a time to discuss the immediate greater community. So for our 3rd through 5th graders, as educators, our immediate greater community would be the school that they're in. There is grades outside of their normal grades that they're encompassed in those schools. So that is our immediate greater community that we're going to discuss. This is a time in our breakout that we'll talk about some of the cognitive development, the emotional development of all grades, but we want to talk about how our 3rd and 5th graders can really impact the lives of the younger students and in some cases the older students in our schools as well. So an activity that we decided to do that not only will challenge our immediate greater community, it will also be a benefit for the community surrounding us, are our share placement activities. And this is don't make fun of my example. This is an example of my placement that I made. I'm imagining as a 3rd grader I could write 1 to 2 full sentences without help, design my own decorations. Now, a fun way to incorporate the rest of your school would be to challenge each classroom to create placemats. Now these placemats can be made on regular construction paper. Mine's made on just computer paper, special placemat, cardstock, whatever it is you want to use. You have them decorate them and then you laminate them. And the point of this project is they will eventually go to the soup kitchens, to the nursing homes, to the Veterans Affairs office, wherever your classroom decides that these placemats will go to be shared, to be used to bring joy to somebody else's day. Now the cool thing about these is they can be watered down all the way to kindergarten, where they're just drawing pictures and you're dictating their narration on the picture for them, all the way up to 5th grade, where they could read half of a novel while they eat their warm soup. So however you want to incorporate this in your classroom, it's really able to be reached across many different age groups. So this is a fun activity that Dina came up with for us to share with our immediate grader community. Now after we complete that project, we're going to move right into session 2, breakout session 2, which is where we kind of get a little dirty and we dig a little deeper into what it means to be a 3rd through 5th grader. Now, this is an impressionable age we spoke earlier about. It's really impressionable. Students are starting to learn more about industry. And so what industry to them is tangible, building things, making things, math problems, solving problems, things along that nature. So it's a little bit less imaginative and it's a little bit more concrete for them. But regardless, it's an age that we can really push on them to do things with their hands and to fix problems and create those problem-solving skills that they'll need for the rest of their lives. And then their socio-emotional growth at this age, they're really starting to do some self-reflection, learn more about who they are as people, as well as the surroundings that they put themselves in. Little groups are starting to form, girls are becoming girl best friends, and boys are becoming boy best friends, and you see 2 or 3 hang out on the playground every day, the same kids, they sit next to a certain group at lunchtime. All these things start to happen really in that age group. It's no longer everybody's our friend, which is a really tough age to be part of. And so the activity that we created is called the Sharing Caring Tree. Now this is an activity that not only works for 3rd through 5th graders, it works for adults as well. I run 2 daycare centers, and we have a bit of an issue because we're all female, that sometimes we're a little catty and we say things that we don't mean or we do mean, and it really hurts feelings. So we do the Sharing Caring Tree seasonally, and so this season it's Valentine's Day, and instead of leaves on our tree we have hearts, and I create their hearts and we write the teacher's name on it. So for example, you would cut out as a teacher leaves for your tree or hearts for your board, or however you wanted to do it. We just decided a tree would be the easiest to explain. So you create a trunk on your wall, and you give each student a leaf with another student's name on it. And then that student is to write something special about that person. Now, for me, with my teachers, I don't allow them to just write, "You have a great smile." It has to be something specific. So I made an example with Anna from our group. I said, "Anna, you're a great organizer and planner. Week 8 project would not have happened without you." So it gives her a compliment, and it also gives a specific as to why I feel that way about her. Then these leaves would go pasted onto your tree in the hallway, in your classroom, wherever you felt they were appropriate to go. They're anonymous, so most of the time students don't know who they came from. And it's a really good way to encourage them. So the student can look at that tree and say, "You know what, today I'm having a bad day, but dagnabbit, I'm a good organizer, I'm a good planner, I can make it through today." And it's a really good way because it's coming student to student instead of teacher to student, which is a really encouraging way to help them grow and develop. Then we're going to break out into session 3. Session 3 is cognitive development in the 3rd through 5th graders. Now, 3rd through 5th grade is a difficult age. I substitute taught with them for a while, and they're interesting. They're a fun group. They're very fun, but they're very difficult because this is the stage where they're starting to build their independence. They're starting to not need you so much, and they want to do it their way. But it's also the age, so impressionable, that if they do it wrong, they get really beat up about it, and it's a really tender age. So 3rd through 5th grade teachers, I applaud you. It's not an age that I choose to work with often, but we did some research and found that this is a really good age for what students can do. Students are able to think more in terms of concrete, which sometimes sounds like a drag because at the bottom it says become less imaginative. Well, yes, they're less imaginative, but they're more concrete in their thoughts, and so you're really able to start doing some research with them, history, facts, things like that that they didn't quite understand when they were younger. They're grasping the concept of that now. They're also showing signs of being responsible and independent. And as difficult as responsibility and independence is for some people, it's a really good thing for them to start learning and having consequences when they don't do what they're supposed to, and having rewards when they do what they are supposed to, such as in the adult life. It's a really impressionable age. They show a variety of reading interests, which is great in your classroom to incorporate multiple reading interests. Snakes and spiders are great, and so are kites and sailboats. So random things throughout your classroom will really encourage them to explore all their options. Understand the perspective of others. This is why we chose the sharing caring tree, is that statement right there. In the younger ages, kindergarten, first, second grade, you have a lot of tattling. That doesn't happen as often as they get older, and it's because of this right here, that they start to understand the perspective of others, that it's not all about them, that they understand that when they tattle, the other person gets in trouble, and they care about the person. It's not about the situation for them, it's the person for them. So you see that a lot in those age groups. And it's also, it says that they become more negative. I can't, it's boring. Those are cues to you as a teacher that something is off in their environment, in their classroom. They're not just bored, they're not saying they're bored just to say they're bored. You're not encouraging them, challenging them, doing something enough for them. So, once we talk about that, we'll break apart and we're going to do some mingling and some sharing. It's a really good time to do best practices, talk about what does and doesn't work in your classroom, see if a co-teacher or fellow teacher is able to help you walk through that, if you're able to help another co-teacher walk through some of the things that are going on in their classroom as well. And then we take about 10 minutes to wrap up together. And in wrapping up, we want to really review what we went over, talk about the activities, how we're going to use them in our classrooms to encourage them to make a difference in somebody else's day. And then we're going to talk about whether or not what we do fosters good character and virtues. It's vital that in our classrooms we set that standard, that we won't accept things that are unethical or unmoral in our classrooms. And using the term unethical and unmoral don't work with those kids. It's hard to work with us, right? But it's a really good age to encourage them to be positive with their peers. And if we try to incorporate this into our classrooms, thoughts and ideas will lead to making a difference in our community and build a bright future for all of our students, which is our goal. You can find all of our references on our PowerPoint or on our essay. I hope you really enjoyed our presentation.